Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. I have got an absolutely stunning 2-row repeat pattern for you. What I love about this is you've got this texture. By working in the front loops and the back loops of the next rows and the next rows, we're creating this gorgeous wavy line in between. Because this little stitch that we do pulls it up, so it's rather than a flat, as you can see in the camera, it goes up and down. And I think it gives it a really elegant, a really sweet look to it. Really pleased with this one. It's not difficult to do at all. You will need to know how to do a single crochet, and the other thing is I'll show you how to do this stitch when we get to it. It's very easy to do. And slip stitch. You will need lightweight yarn number 3, which is DK yarn here in the UK, and a 4mm crochet hook. Now, of course, you can use your own yarn and your own hooks, depending on what you want to make and the kind of texture you want to create, whether you want it to be tight or loose. Just change your hooks as you see fit. But anything baby related, stick with a 4mm crochet hook because you want to allow a bit of softness. The pattern is worked up in an even number of chains. We are going to start with 14 chains for the tutorial, small one, so I don't keep you too long. The other thing I wanted to say was that if I get to the end of the row before you, please do pause and catch up in your own pace. If it's still a little bit too fast, you can pause the video and a little wheel appears at the top. Settings, I think it's in the top right hand screen. Find the playback options and then just slide it across, and that will slow the speed for you. And you can also add subtitles at that point. So yeah, have another little look and we will begin. Gorgeous. Right, I grab my yarn, I've got my notes here, and let's begin. Let's chain 14, so do your slip knot and chain 14. The very first row is a single crochet row, the second row is the pattern row. Then we will revert back to the single crochet row, but it will be put in the back loops. Right, so you never count the one on the hook, skip one, go to the next one, pop your hook in, pull up a loop, pull through 2. Next stitch, go in, pull up the loop and pull through 2. That's your single crochet. You want to place 1 in every chain along till the end. Sorry if you can hear my stomach rumbling. Right, row number 2 is the pattern row, so we will begin with chain 1, and we are going to do this in the front loops only. Okay, so if you turn your work over, there's your 2 loops, that's your back loop, and this side is your front loop. So, but for the very first stitch, go into both loops and do a slip stitch. So go in, pull up the loop, and then pull it through the one on the hook. Then we want to do the pattern, but like I said, it's front loops only. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, front loop only. As you can see, there's my other loop sitting underneath. Just the one single front loop, pull up the loop, pull through 2, and go in again, pull up a loop and pull through 3. It's all front loops only for this row. That's what creates the pattern. Do a slip stitch in the next one. Don't do them very tight, remember. Yarn over, go into the next loop, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and go in again. 3 loops, pull through all 3. Next one, slip stitch. And you want to repeat this all the way to the end, and then when you get to the very last slip stitch, it's both loops. You don't have to, I just find it creates a nice sturdier edge using both loops. then yarn over for the last one, front loop only, and then the very last stitch here, go in and use both loops for a slip stitch if you did a single crochet. Right, that's the back and that's the front. So we've created this, one of the first lines that we've done. Now we're back to the single crochet row, which is the first row. So chain one, very first stitch here, do a single crochet in both loops, and we are now going to work in the back loops for the single crochet. So it might be a bit more difficult on this because it's the textured row. So if you flip your work right over, there's your stitches. That's your front loop and that's your back loop. So go into the back loops only and do a single crochet row. When you get to the end, the very last one will be both loops, single crochet in both loops for the end. This allows this pattern row to pop out more, and then it also creates this and then the very last stitch here, there's my stitch, going to both loops and do a single crochet. Now we are back to row number 2. So chain 1, slip stitch into the first one using both loops, and now we are going to use the front loops only for the pattern. So yarn over, going to the front loop only, pull up the loop, pull through 2, then yarn over, no yarn over, go in and pull through all 3. Next one, slip stitch. We will alternate like this, like we did before. The magic is happening on the other side. We're here toward the end. Last one. And then the very last stitch, going to both for the slip stitch. Chain 1, and you can flip your work and you can see you're getting this gorgeous little line in between either side of the pattern. I'll show you 1 and 2 one more time. Going to the very first stitch, single crochet, then back loops only, single crochet row, and then the very last stitch, both loops, single crochet. Chain 1, slip stitch into the both loops, and then do your pattern row, row number 2. So yarn over, front loops only. Hope you've got the cluster now. Just to show you another line. Two remaining, so little cluster and slip stitch. Now you can either start with slip stitch. The reason why we start with a slip stitch is so that this, you know, it you know, we're pushing the work down. And I'll finish with the work with row 1, because when you've got to wherever you need to get to, you need to finish off with a row 1, which is just your normal single crochet row. Single crochet row into the back loops. It just balances it out a bit more. And when you're doing your slip stitches on the ends for the other row, make sure that they're not too tight so the work doesn't squish in. Just keep it nice and loose. And last one is both loops, and you'll finish like this. I think it's showing up a lot more in the darker colour, so that might also be a hint to do this pattern maybe in a darker shade, so that you can clearly see the lines. I mean, you can see them here as well, but on the camera this one's showing up much better. Right then, this is a gorgeous pattern. Hope you like this pattern. I absolutely love it. I want to make something from this now, with this, sorry. 2 row repeat. Thank you for watching, everybody. Please do subscribe, like and share, and please put your bell icon on, because there's lots more patterns as always, one every other day. Yeah, tell me what you think about this, and I'll see you very soon.